Oh, yeah. Okay. I had a little bit of technical issues. So I'm glad things are working now. I feel like I need to step back a little bit. I like to lean forward for some reason. I don't know why that is. All right. Hey, hey. How's everybody? Hey, okay. Hey. Waan in salamay. Adnan in salamay. I hope everybody is doing good today. Dadka dhan inay ladan yihiin. I hope inaa si fiican lay maqlo. Okay. Okay. Soo dhawaada. Mm-hmm. Maanta waa Mother's Day, marka hooyooyinkoo dhan inaan loo hambalyeeyo. So we're saying happy Mother's Day to all moms. Hooyoy la'aanta adduunyada hubaashi, habeenkama baxdeeno, iftiin lama heleeno, dadka uma hayaameen, xidig hawd ka lulato. Yeah, hooyo la'aantu horta wayba dhib meeran tahabo. Aniga koley waan kaga sheekayn karaa. Insha Allah mar kale aan kaga sheekayn doonaa marka hooyo la'aanta. Maanta hooyooyinka aan u hambalyeynayna aan leenahay hooyo. Happy Mother's Day. Waxaan isku tijaabinayaa different things maanta. Haddaad aragtid your comment on the screen, that is a cool new nice addition. I like this a lot. Marka soo dhawaada everybody, soo dhawaada. So weekly 7, right? So I think this is the umpteenth. No, it only has been like a little bit over a month. Weekly 7, marka, where I talk about topiyaasha wiigaas aan ka helay mise aan fikrad igeliye, that I thought about a lot and that seemed interesting to me, So first things first, what we have here is, so the first thing that we have here was the death of a Somali football player in a mosque. And I really felt really sad about that, obviously. And I'm wondering if any of you guys heard about it. So have you guys heard about this? Where there's a former international Somali goalkeeper, Abdulwali Olat, and he was killed in a mosque. And I just, we keep losing so many people, right? We keep losing so many people. And every time I hear about a death like this, somebody who's prominent, who's presumably, doing something to instill hope in people. And they always seem to be targeted. So have you guys... Oh, I'm so glad that somebody confirmed for me. Thank you, Mukhtar Dahir, for confirming for me that you can hear me. I really appreciate it. Marka, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was this death of a Somali football player in a mosque. And there's so many things that, that makes me think about, right? It makes me think about that there's so many people get killed for trying to make change in our homeland. So many people who are trying to instill hope in other people, so many people who are doing different from the norm, right? Because some people believe that playing soccer or playing any sports is not good, or worse, haram, right? So What do you guys think? So Mukhtar said, yes, we posted it on Somali Diaspora News. So Mukhtar runs Somali Diaspora News. Really cool. I like that. So if you want to get the latest news on the Somali diaspora, then Somali Diaspora News is your place. So check it out. And let's see. Aha. Greetings, Mohamed Addo. Thank you so much, Mohamed Addo. Aad baan ku salaamay. So waa ku salaamay. Thank you very much. Ramadan Mubarak. Same to you, Samala. Same to you. And then Mohamed Addo. Greetings. I wish you are doing well in your ways. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Adigana Ramadan Mubarak. So Ramadan Mubarak. I'm really glad that you guys are here spending your time with me. I really do appreciate that. And so welcome. So Dawada, share with your friends if you think they could also benefit from the weekly 7, where I just talk about topics that I found interesting or intriguing throughout the week and basically gave me a lot of things to think about. So this is something that I thought about. I thought about all the ways that, people who try to inspire the youth especially, and killing somebody in a mosque just seems, just not that you should kill anybody anywhere, right? But it just seems like extra, you know what I mean? That extra hurt, killing somebody in a mosque, killing somebody during Ramadan, it's just for a nation that purports itself to be, nearly 100%, right? The statistics are maybe a little bit skewed, right? Because there isn't a lot of diversity or tolerance for diversity in Somali or Somali territories. But for a nation that purports itself to be Muslims, killing somebody during Ramadan and killing somebody, in a mosque is just horrendous. And it was something that I felt, definitely worth mentioning. And we can, worth like celebrating this person's life who made an impact. He happened to be like a football player, soccer player for us Americans, right? Because we have to be different from everybody else. But he was also an instructor and he inspired the youth. And it's just really sad. And this is a quote. It is really very sad that we have missed a visionary young coach and instructor, a man who had a great ambition for his football career. And on behalf of the Somali football family, I send our heartfelt condolences to his family, relatives, and friends in football. We will sadly be missing him. So when you hear about these kind of things, like what kind of emotions or what does it like evoke in you? maxaad ka fakartaa markaad maxaa la yiraahdaa waxyaalaha kale aad maqashid marmar qaarkood I feel like inaan rajo quusto. Is that like this specific like term? Like inaan rajo quusto, like this is just a regular person not doing obviously a lot, like he's not a politician, obviously, just a regular person doing a regular job, but these regular jobs obviously have a huge impact, right? And you can tell that the status quo or the majority feel threatened, that the fact that this person dhalinyaradu rajo gelinaya oo dhalinyaradu tusaya nolol duwan, like nolol ka duwan nolosha hadda joogta. Marka I really feel sad and, and it's scary. So I feel, allow naharisto. I just thought that segue into another story, right? That also has to do with soccer, I guess football. And this one is a little bit more like kind of different, right? This guy was presumed to be dead, but he's not. And it's such a weird story. So the soccer player, he was pronounced dead in 2016 and found alive and well. And this is very intriguing to me because people do fly under the radar, right? People just do go like missing sometimes, and that's like a fact. But sometimes people just also disappear because they want to. But anyways, if a person goes missing for a long time, after a certain amount of time, I can't tell from the top of my head how long, they are presumed dead. And then spouses or can usually apply or file for insurance claims and things like that, right? So this guy, his name is Hayane Kamba. He was found alive and well in 2020. The German newspaper discovered that the now 33-year-old man has been working for a German energy company. He was a promising young player for, it says Bundesliga. I can't even say it. But anyways, in 2016, it was reported that he had been killed during a car accident in his native Democratic Republic of Congo. So somebody goes missing for a very, very long time. And I thought this was like really crazy and fascinating, right? So they go missing for a very long time. It's in 2016. So it's 2020 now. 4 years later, they're presumed dead. And then now they're actually alive. Crazy. It makes me think about all the people that, one, go missing and really are never found, right? It also makes me think about, people who want to go missing and who just want to disappear. So one, people who go missing who are never found, for me personally, so I think I've shared with you guys on Facebook and such before that I have not met my mother since, or I've not seen my mother since I was like about 30 or 30 some days. So less than a month, a little bit over a month, right? And since then, like, I was raised by my grandmother, but basically my mother just has been missing, right, since then. And nobody really knows where she's at. So there's always that, is she alive? Is she not alive, right? So when I read stories like this, I'm like, could she be alive? And she just doesn't want to be found? Or is she dead? So things like that always like make me think about like what the choices that people make, right? Sometimes people just do disappear because they just want to start over. Can you relate to that? Do you ever think sometimes, you know what, I just want to disappear and start over, so I can just have a fresh start? What do you guys think? So Hassan said there's an insurance scam from the wife. Yeah, so if you further read the news article, it's unclear how he was able to survive, but his wife allegedly forged documents to collect on his 6-figure life insurance policy. So his wife ended up like living good. Like she just, ended up living good and just... she's just took advantage of the fact that he was missing. So yeah, that was like super interesting. That was like, whoa, people do interesting things. Absolutely. All right. Hassan also says, my aunt was found missing after 30 years. Dude, that is like a whole story. A whole story. Like that is like a book. We need to hear from Auntie after 30 years. I'm 33 now, so maybe, find my mom after 30 odd years, right? So du'aya, maybe it will come true, right? And that is definitely something worth noting. All right. So interesting thing about those two soccer players. So I was just, scrolling through the timeline the other day, right? And I saw this news article from Kenya, how this particular heiress, so she is heir to a particular industry in Kenya, and she was found dead in her apartment. And the biggest story, right? The bigger story was that she had a beau, and she's 27, and her beau is about 50 something. So here's them. Her name is Tecra. So Tecra Muigai. I'm probably mispronouncing that, completely mispronouncing it, right? But here's her boo thing, and her boo thing is like about 50 years old, 50 some years old. You guys know I have a how do I put this in the most appropriate way? I like, silver foxes. Let's just put it that way. I like silver foxes. They're, why not? Especially if they have good teeth, right? Good teeth. So don't holler. You're a silver fox. You think you're a silver fox and you don't have good teeth. I need to see a smiling picture. But anyways, poor Tecra, she had an accident at the Lamu home of a man who's said to have been her boyfriend. And all over the Kenyan like Twitter's feed was the fact that he was like in his 50s. So that was like the biggest story, even though a poor woman is like dead, right? So there's a couple of things there that, she is sadly dead. And secondly, that there's this May-December relationships. And May-December relationships like aren't even that much of a quote unquote big deal in African societies. So are we changing our minds about this? Are we saying like this isn't really acceptable anymore? And are we saying that this is surprising, or she could have, God forbid, I hate saying this, done better, right? So what do you guys think about May-December relationships? May-December relationships are a relationship where there's a huge age gap. So more than 10 probably, sometimes 20. God forbid, sometimes 30. I don't know why I say God forbid, because maybe it works for them. Who knows? So what do you guys think about May-December romances? I think that it depends on the individual couple and whatever works for them. Rest her soul, Tecra Muigai. I hope that it's just an accident, even though the guy was purported to be arrested. So I'm not sure if he really was, but he was purported to be arrested because her family suspects that he's responsible for it. But, rest her soul. And I hope that it was just an accident. It's just really sad. So Hassan says, the thing with Tecra is that the reason Tecra's case was unusual to people is because of her family's wealth. And she still went for the silver fox. Young lady just wanted to be happy. Yeah, she just wanted to be happy. And sometimes your happiness may not be comprehended or understood by other people. What makes you happy is different from what makes the next person happy. And a lot of times people think that we should all want the same things and we should all have the same quote unquote values or, experiences. And sometimes that's not like that. So I applaud her for following her heart, even though it seemed like a lot of people were frowning upon it and kind of judging her for it. Especially the fact that he was just this fun-loving, partying, 50-some-year-old man. He was just still living life. And then that's something else that we judge people for, that at some point, you're not supposed to enjoy life anymore. You're supposed to, settle down, whatever that means, and not like do certain things anymore. So this guy still wanted to be the life of the party, and, more power to him. All right. Rest in peace, Tecra. The biggest thing for me, and I've been really thinking about this a lot, and it's just kind of caused me like a lot of personal pain, as a Black woman, as a Black woman living in America. God bless his soul. When you see all of these murders, of Black men, it really hits very close to home. I am always, just really heartbroken by it in more ways than one, because it just hits so close to home. I'm raising a Black boy, he is getting taller and bigger by the day. He is definitely taller than me, and he reminds me every day. And when I look at him, and I see these things, it is personal. It feels so close, like it's happened to me. I can see myself in the mothers that are crying, I can see myself. And this is something that like I feel since obviously we learned history, and as Black people, we try to educate ourselves even more about the true history, right? Because history is always written in the eyes of the winners, whatever that means, right? So what did Chinua Achebe said? If the lions had their historians, the story of the hunt would have been written differently. So the history is always written from the perspective of, the winner. So whatever. So as Black people, we have to do even that extra work of learning history on our own and, seeking other sources, right? Because even it's just that critical thinking where you're like, who wrote this? And every story has an agenda. Every story has a purpose, and it's either to perpetuate the status quo and to tell a story from a specific perspective. So yeah, Shamiso, it's super scary. A lot of people are rightfully afraid. I'm afraid. My son, he's in track. He runs, he cycles, he's just really active kid. And every child or every person should be allowed to do that without fear of being gunned down for any reason at all. There is no reason that anybody should play judge, jury, and executioner. And that's a whole nother story, about also like our criminal justice system, and definitely conversations in the future that we could have. But the fact of the matter is that this is a problem constantly where Black people are dying either at the hands of police officers or at the hands of racist white people. Let's just call it what it is. So as a mother, I'm afraid. These are the kind of conversations I have to have with my child. I have to tell him like, hey, I don't know if you saw this video on the internet. I prefer that you wouldn't watch it, please, because it's just, I haven't watched it. I just scroll through it frantically whenever I see it on the timeline because my heart can't take it. And I don't need to see Black death to believe that this happened. I don't need to see that. I know it happens. If you look at a historical context, if you look at the history of this country, you know that this is something that happens and has occurred, right? And change and progress is just so painfully slow. And I hate these images so much because they hurt my psyche. They just, hurt me so much and just put me in a depressive state. And I don't need to see Black pain, torture, and suffering. I don't want to see that at all. But anyways, I had this conversation with him and I said, I don't know if you've seen it. And I prefer that you don't watch it, please don't watch it. But this is basically what happened. And, these are the reasons why I always tell you to be so careful. And it's so sad that we have to have these conversations with our children and basically cut their childhood short where they're not feeling as free, as their white counterparts. They're not feeling as free. They're not feeling as, exploring their identity and who they are. And, just being, their childhood is always cut short. Tamir Rice was only 12 years old. All of these things hurt me as a Black parent, and we need to continuously talk about it and have action after that talk or during that talk simultaneously. And, we need to not hide away from it. And at the same time, I also don't want to see Black death or Black suffering on the timeline. And I celebrate continuously Black joy because I believe that being joyful despite all of this is a radical act. So I believe in radical joy, and I believe in like celebrating our Blackness every day, no matter who likes it or not. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? I don't care whether anybody likes whether I'm celebrating my Blackness or not. It's what keeps me alive. You know what I mean? It's what gives me joy. So there's much work to be done, very much work to be done. So Deeg Mohamed Farah says that doctors are killing the Black people. There's definitely a conversation to be had about medical racism, right? The idea that Black people don't feel pain as white people do. There's the racism, it is embedded into all of the institutions, right? In the societies. So it's everywhere, Right now on COVID-19, we're talking about how Black and brown people are disproportionately affected, right? And some people try to say that it's because Black and brown people are not healthy without looking at the social context, right? Without looking at the historical context of how Black people have been treated in this country and how limited our access has been to healthcare, right? And how we're not believed even when we express our health concerns. So Fauzia, I hope you didn't see it. Keep the conversation open. It's scary out there for Black people. Absolutely. You know, it's a fine balance for a Black parent to inform your child and not kill their spirit. You know, it's agonizing, right? I tell him the truth about the way the world is and how people that look like him are treated and look like us are treated, or I don't kill his joy. I don't kill his, you know, spirit. It's a really hard, difficult balance for a Black parent. And, you know, I pray for us all. Thank you, Abaya. So if coronavirus wasn't as crazy and turning the entire world upside down, now we also have murder hornets. I've been like following this very closely, and I just thought to myself, wow. And I love, you know, the memes behind it, the memes where it says, oh, coronavirus is not enough. Okay, release the murder hornets. And the murder hornets are killing other insects too. So this Asian giant hornet, Vespa mandarinea, has been known to kill up to 50 people a year in Japan and has the potential to devastate US bee populations, which have already been declining. I am scared. These hornets are usually between 1.5 to 2 inches long, have large yellow-orange heads with prominent eyes and black and yellow striped abdomen. They already look like a nightmare. They made their way to the US for the first time in December. So not only do we have coronavirus to worry about, we have all these insects to worry about too. So it's like super scary. I hope I don't come across them, because personally, hornets, wasps, bees, all of them scare the bejesus out of me, and I just cannot personally. I just really cannot. So I'm staying indoors. You know, what have you guys been doing? You know, and I think also it's worth noting, right, that it's a really privilege to stay indoors. Today I was just looking at my grocery list and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I have to do groceries. I didn't really want to. And then I thought to myself, oof, why did I skip my week for HelloFresh so I could get some groceries delivered, you know, by Tuesday? And then I just thought about all that. And I was like, wow, first world problems. You know, so I'm going to go to the grocery store, you know. And then when I go to the grocery store, everybody has masks. So I feel like weird because I'm the only one that doesn't have a mask because, you know, I haven't been able to get masks or anything like that. And last week I was a bit sick. So I don't know if it was the Rona, but I was feeling very run down. I was feeling so run down, you know. And it wasn't just because of like fasting. It was like worse than like, you know what I mean, feeling hungry and lethargic. It was like muscle aches and just feeling completely like I was run over by a truck. And I feel that way sometimes too, like with the depression. But this also felt different, you know. Like I had like ear pressure problems, and I thought to myself, Rona, is that you? So now every ailment that we have, we're like, Rona, is that you? Anyways, if it was, I hope it's gone. I don't know if it was, but I feel now fine, alhamdulillah. I still feel like a little achy, but for the most part, I'm okay. But if it ain't one thing, it's another, right? Ooh. All right. So what do we have here? I found this one super, super interesting. How awful it would be to lose your sense of smell, right? There's always like these questions sometimes that we get somewhere like, what would you rather? What would you rather? Would you rather this or would you rather that, right? Well, what if you lost your sense of smell? How would that go? And you're a chef, and your smell and taste are connected. So what do? You lose your sense of smell, and I don't know. I'm a very like, I love like fragrances, and especially fragrances such as citrus just put me in a really happy mood. So I really love that. And I would personally, I think I would be just super depressed over it. I couldn't imagine losing my sense of smell. I couldn't imagine that. But I just thought to myself, wow, what are the odds, right, of somebody losing their sense of smell? Hi, Esat, how are you? Welcome, welcome, so well. Welcome. All right. And then speaking of, interesting dynamics and xenophobia and all that stuff, right? The government of Kenya decided to lock down the Somali neighborhood of Isli due to spike of COVID-19 infections. And some people are really calling foul on this, right? Because the Kenyan police don't have a really good reputation when it comes to disproportionately targeting Somalis in Kenya. And I thought about this and I thought to myself, is this because it's a health concern? Because health concerns really is valid, right? Or is this also a good excuse, right? Good excuse to further, disproportionately or further marginalize people? I thought, and then I realized, I was reading some news about it, and I realized that certain essentials were still being able to come into Isli. And can you believe that one of the essentials was qat? Yeah. Why is qat not an essential, right? And I really, really wish we could have a further conversation about that. And we will, right? We will, because I definitely want to talk about more about, other social issues in the community and some of the things that aggravate it. But I thought it was very interesting that qad is considered an essential. Like, in what world? In speaking about coronavirus, a llama could prove key in the hunt for a treatment. And the fact that the llama, I cannot even pronounce this word, the llama. Llama? I think it's llama. I'm pronouncing it probably like in Spanish. Llama. No, it's llama. So anyways, US and Belgian scientists have identified a tiny particle that appears to block coronavirus with a llama called Winter central to their studies. So we potentially got this coronavirus from a non-human species. And maybe the treatment for it is in another non-human species. How interesting is that? I thought that was fantastic. And every time like I see something that says potential treatment, I just get too excited for my own liking. I'm like, oh my God, the world might open back up again. Please let it be true, please. A llama. Okay, so it's a llama. Okay, so it's like LLAMA, but so let's see. Llama. Okay, so llama. In my defense, English is not my first language, even though I speak English mostly. But I still mispronounce a lot of things because it's just not the first language that I learned. I think it's not even the second language that I learned. English was probably third language. So, yeah. So anyways, that was like quite an eventful week, a very eventful week. I'm hoping that for this week, I hope that things quieten down. I hope that, we find a cure or vaccine for coronavirus. So not a cure, but a vaccine or treatment, maybe a cure, treatment. I am hoping that, we find ways to address the inequalities that are happening in health, that the coronavirus is disproportionately affecting Black and Brown people. And I'm hoping for, a good, quiet lovely week, and I'm hoping the same for everybody. So shout outs. Really want to thank for the people that are here. So let's see who's all here. Let's see. All right, Asad, thank you for being here. Shamiso, appreciate you. Deeg, and my girl Fawzia. Hassan Ibrahim, as always. Okay, Mohamed Haji, wanku salama, kuchlami. All right. Abdikafi, how's it going? I like that I can put these comments on here. It's so cool. Like, it's just, Ramadan Mubarak, everybody. Mukhtar Tahir, all right. And Mo Ibrahim. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. No treatment for a disease that doesn't exist in the first place. Ooh, child. So COVID-19 doesn't exist? So no treatment for a disease that doesn't exist in the first place. Are you sure about that? Right? So that's questionable, and I know that there's a lot of like conspiracy theories happening, right? And to be honest, I don't address conspiracy theories because I find them preposterous, right? So yeah, I never really think that they're worth, addressing. They're funny for like meme purposes, when I see memes about 5G and, things like that. It's funny, it's humorous, right? But other than that, conspiracy theories are just that. They're conspiracy theories. They don't really hold a lot of water when you put them to the test. So, but anyways, we're nearing at 36 minutes. Just want to thank everybody that is here. Really appreciate you being here with me. If you want to shoot me an email at udgoon7show@gmail.com. If you have any ideas, any topics that you'd like me to address, anything that you found worthwhile and interesting that week that you would like me to address in the next weekly 7, love to hear your feedback about the show. And thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. مع السلامة.